No one ever thought Rachel and Derek could ever fall out of love. Back in their college days, they were mad for each other. At least, it seemed so. Until they moved into their first house in Austin, Texas. It was 8 years before they saved up enough money to buy a home of their own. But the 8 years also brought along a lot of baggage. And to add to that was the huge loan on their shoulders. Derek ended up working overtime and barely had time to spend at home. Rachel worked at home as a writer. And these days, they barely have time to each other. Not that they wanted time for each other. Every interaction seemed to turn into a fight. Where were you? I've been calling you for so long. I had some errands to run. What errands? If you had to go shopping, you could have just asked me to bring you home. I didn't go shopping. I went out to meet a friend. Who? Was it that chump, Ralph? Derek, why are you always after Ralph? Ralph was Rachel and Derek's next-door neighbor. Over the past year, they had been living side by side. Rachel and Ralph became quite close. After they got to know each other, Rachel had started to share her problems with him. Ralph was always there to support her. And Rachel loved spending time with him. He made her laugh, he didn't judge her, and best of all, he understood her in a way that Derek never had. When will you be coming over tomorrow? I don't know. Derek will be home early. Oh, right. Derek. We have to figure something better. We live right next to each other, but still so many obstacles. I can make up some excuse. And then maybe we can watch a movie together. No, I was looking forward to spending time together at home. Just you and me. See if you can do something about it. Rachel suddenly started to have regrets about marrying Derek. As time went by, Rachel found herself falling in love with Ralph. He was the one she wanted to be with, not Derek. She felt guilty about her emotions, but it wasn't something she could hold back. She felt what she felt about Ralph. In these past few months, it was Ralph that had been on her side, going through her problems with her, not Derek. Her love for Ralph slowly started to show up between her relationship with Derek. Rachel was never there for Derek. Derek would be talking to her from right across the table, but Rachel would be somewhere else. She stopped going out with Derek like they used to every Friday night. As a matter of fact, she could care less about Derek anymore. All she had on her mind was getting out of here and being with Ralph, the one she truly loved, and who truly loved her. Derek started to notice a change in Rachel, and he was in no way happy about it. What's wrong, Rachel? Why have you been behaving like this lately? Like what? It's like you're not even listening to me anymore. Are you here or somewhere else? What do you mean somewhere else? Where do you expect me to be? I'm sitting right in front of you. You're always ready to point a finger at me. Rachel, I didn't even say anything. How am I supposed to know what is going on in your life? You rarely speak to me anymore. Is there something you want to tell me? No. With that, Rachel angrily got up from her chair and went into her room. Derek was sitting all alone at the dining table. He sighed and picked on his food. They had been going through a lot of misunderstandings. Usually they resolved to all their previous issues, but this time it was different. Jerry, I can't say anything for sure, but I keep getting this feeling that Rachel has been going behind my back. She's been hanging out with the neighbor, Ralph. She says they're only friends, but I just don't like how the guy looks at her. If you're suspicious, you should look into the matter. Maybe check her phone. Keep an eye on her. No, I don't want to spy on her. I respect her privacy, but I haven't been liking the visits. I was sure one time she was with that guy, but later she lied to me about it. What? You caught her once and you still want to believe her? If I ever found my wife with another man, I wouldn't spare a second to take both their lives. Trying to think things out, you know. I don't want to overreact just to realize I wrongly accused her of something she didn't do. It's your life, bro. Just take your precautions. If I ever found my wife with another man, I wouldn't spare a second to take both their lives. Rachel had to come to a decision. She would confess her love to Ralph. She didn't want to be apart from him for a second. The next morning, after Derek went out for work, Rachel went to meet Ralph. She used her pair of keys to get inside without anyone noticing. She wanted to surprise him. She sneaked down the hall and peered into his room. Ralph, did you miss me? Ralph turned around in shock. He whispered anxiously. Rachel, you're not supposed to be here at this time. What are you doing? We need to talk, Ralph. I can't live like this anymore. We can talk later. I'll be having guests over soon. I don't want others getting suspicious about us and start spreading rumors. I'll call you when I'm free again. Ralph escorted Rachel to the door. Now please, Rachel, I know I gave you a pair of keys, but call me before you come, okay? I love you. Rachel sighed and went home. She hated this game of hide and seek. How long were things going to be like this? A lot happened in the following week. Rachel noticed she wasn't feeling too good. She often started to have difficulty breathing. She felt weak and ended up vomiting. She couldn't ignore the strange metallic taste she had in her mouth. Rachel couldn't understand what was happening with her. She tried to treat herself by eating properly and exercising. But Rachel got the most relief when she spent time with Ralph, although the two didn't get to discuss their love affair. Rachel was just happy to be by his side. But it was rather sooner than later that Rachel's health condition started to worsen. She decided to go take a visit to the doctor. Mrs. Adams, have you been having a lot of seafood lately? The results to your blood tests have returned, and there seems to be a considerable amount of mercury in your blood. Although not fatal, it may have severe effects and lead to death. What? No, that's so strange. Perhaps you may not be aware of it. Many sushi contain fish high in mercury, like tuna, swordfish, or king mackerel. These symptoms that you've been having is due to mercury poisoning. I would recommend you check your diet and come back next week for a checkup. Rachel was a bit surprised when she heard what the doctor had to say. She knew this wasn't something she had done. Rather, she started to believe that it was being done to her. This could be none other than Derek. He must have found out about her relationship with Ralph and was planning to take revenge. Derek had seen Rachel's health worsen over the week. Not once did he say for her to get checked out by the doctor. It was all Derek. But Rachel wasn't going to let him ruin her life because of his jealousy and anger. She deserved to have a choice. Rachel would catch him in the act. And if need be, Rachel would give him his own medicine. As the days went by, Rachel didn't eat anything at home. She didn't have dinner with Derek. She didn't eat the things Derek brought home. But she served them to him with a grim smirk on her face. Strangely enough, Rachel's health continued to deteriorate. That's when things went over the line for her. She knew Ralph was waiting for her at his house. She would go to him. But today, she would go after ending it all with Derek. Derek, you think you wouldn't be caught in the act? How could you do this to me? What are you talking about? Don't act like you don't know. You've been trying to poison me. Rachel, have you lost your mind? You're my wife. I've always tried to make things work between us. I've always done what would make you happy and healthy, and you're alleging me of trying to take your life? I'm leaving you, Derek. I don't love you. I love someone else. Rachel went out the door. She could hear Derek yelling in the house. She took out her keys and opened Ralph's door. The house was quiet. Rachel locked the door and walked down the hallway. Derek was making coffee. She was about to go inside, but she froze in her tracks. She covered her mouth, not to let out her scream. Ralph was a chill, laid-back guy. He had a good job, a beautiful girlfriend. When Rachel moved in, he started to spend a lot of time with her. She entertained him. But Ralph was only looking to have a good time. But he soon realized Rachel was becoming serious. Rachel wanted to leave Derek and expected Ralph to marry her. And Ralph was in no way prepared to marry anyone at this time of his life, especially not Rachel. Ralph was in a happy relationship with his girlfriend. He didn't want Rachel coming in between them. He feared the secret of his would ruin his relationship and his image in the society. He tried to make Rachel understand that there were no strings attached. He dropped numerous hints, not wanting to hurt her, but nothing went into Rachel's thick skull. Rachel, we need to take things slow. I can't risk anything at the moment. But Ralph, I can't stay with Derek anymore. Rachel, take it easy. We'll figure this out later. No, Ralph, I can't bear Derek's attitude. One of these days, I'm gonna tell him on his face. And Ralph couldn't let Rachel ruin things for him. He had too much on stake. He had to make her shut up. Rachel was horrified. She felt like screaming her lungs out in despair. She betrayed the person who cared for her the most, the person that had been with her through thick and thin. She trusted someone who had only used her. What have I done?
If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends and family.